Now, in my previous video, I talked about how if you go to the Ultimatum theme itself, so I'm just going to copy this, make myself a new tab, Command-T, Macintosh, Control-T for Windows. And this is how I like to work with WordPress. Here's my back end, here's my front end, back end, front end. This way I don't have to basically go through the steps here. I can just hit the back end, front end. Now, notice I don't have anything on the page. Now, part of the reason you're seeing this right here is because I'm logged in as the admin. Little trick here, I'm in Firefox. If I was to open up a new private window and plug in that new information, the URL, you definitely see absolutely nothing. Now, here's how it's thinking, and here's how it works, and here's what it expects from you. You're going to get the proverbial blank page. Now, you might say, well, why am I getting a blank page when I use other themes? I don't get a blank page. Well, Ultimatum is a little different because it's actually a theme framework, similar to other theme frameworks out there, but I like this one the very best because once you understand, once you get over that little tiny hoop on understanding how it thinks, it's very, very simple. So here's what I want to share with you. We're going to go into templates. Ultimatum is based on a template-based theme, so I'm going to select templates. Now, by default, you have this basic template, but you'll notice something very important here. The template is not set up by default. That you might say, well, that's rather odd. If that's my only template, shouldn't I see that by default? Well, that's not how the Ultimatum theme works. So it's very important to understand that I need to set that as my default template. So if I now set that as my default template, and I come up to my Ultimatum theme front page, and I refresh the page, you'll now see that you're going to have content. This is the whole world that ships with the program. So the first thing I need to do if you want to benefit from the basic theme is simply set it to be the Ultimatum theme basic template set by default, which we just did. Now, what I want to share with you is a really cool plugin that we're not going to have to jump through hoops and type in X's and O's, and I don't want you to copy and paste. There's a plugin that will do this for you. So what I want to do from here is I want to go into my plugins, and once I get into plugins, I'm going to add new plugins. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can type in Ipsen Lorem, or you can type in WP example content. Now, this is really, if you want to get serious about working with WordPress, I want to share with you real world skills, which means the same skills I use to build $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, and yes, $60,000, $70,000 WordPress websites. Now, you might say, well, who's going to spend that kind of money on a WordPress website? Well, there's some big companies out there, Coca-Cola, Amex, are using WordPress, and they're spending a big chunk of change to get it done. So don't fool yourself into thinking that this is some kind of toy. So I want to click into WordPress example content. I'm going to click a search, and it's going to come up right here. Now, the really cool thing I like about this is just going to put all your dummy text pages in place. And when you're done with it, one click gets rid of all those pages. So you don't have to make posts and then delete the post. So I'm going to install that. And I'm going to activate the plugin. Great. So what I have down here is WP example content. Now, very important step. This is actually going to say add sample post. Well, in addition to post, it's actually going to do pages. So right now in my document, in my WordPress document, I have my default hello world and I have my sample page. I'm actually going to delete that information. I'm going to go to all posts and I'm going to select hello world and I'm going to trash that. I'm also going to select pages and select all pages. And I'm going to trash my sample page. So right now I have absolutely no content. So of course if I go to the front and refresh this page, you will see I have nothing on my page. I have my Ultimatum theme title of my site, Think Ultimatum. Okay, so now I want to go back. I'm just going to hit the back button a few times. That's probably the easiest way to get back to that plugin page. And based on these choices, keep in mind software is nothing but a series of choices. We're going to add sample post. Now, I just mentioned a second ago, in addition to the sample post, it's also going to put in sample pages. So if you go ahead and select post, you'll see all these posts that it just created. And if I would go to pages, it created all the pages for me as well. So this is just dummy content that you can work with for your client, because if you're going to sit around and waiting for the client to give you content, that could be a long wait. In the meantime, you want to get paid, you want to get your deposit, you want to get things up and running, etc., etc. Now, if you're done with this, so I'm going to go to the front page here and hit the refresh button. So there's all the dummy content that's in here, and you'll see up here that I get a bit of a problem because I have a menu, but I have no content for my menu. We're going to fix that in just a second. So what I suggest you do is you put the plugin so therefore you can work with some kind of content. And if I select this content, then of course that content is going to come up there. Now, if you decide, okay, I'm now ready for my client's real content, so I need to get rid of all this stuff, I can simply click right here, remove all posts. So therefore, the person that developed this plugin really thought ahead. So I can click here, remove all my sample posts. So therefore, when I come to the front of my page and I refresh my page, you'll see that I'm back to no post. Great. So let's go back and enable those posts. So let's select our WordPress example content and add that back in. So now if I go back to the front of the page and refresh, I'm all set. Great. So now let's add a menu to our WordPress Ultimatum theme. We already have a menu, but we need to add those pages to our menu theme, and we'll do that in our next video.